Boom, boom, boom. All right. All right. So we're live. We are live. And first of all, I want to welcome each of you to this consciousness ascending live channeling experience. Right? Where our single goal for a long, long time has been to support you in accelerating your becoming the person you are, free of all that conflicts with the full free expression of your truth in source, i.e., the conditioning, the programming. There is a you that exists right now beyond the conditioning, beyond the programming. That you does not seek to be more confident. That you does not seek to be secured. That you does not seek to be valued. That you does not seek to be respected, for it doesn't need to, for it understands that it is now, and that all that we have ever sought to be, all that we have ever sought after, is an expression. I started listening to a song. I often have songs come into my experience, or I remember songs, and I'll listen to them, and my kids, and or mainly them. Why do you listen to a song over and over again? Because that song, in that moment, for a period of time, causes me to feel good. And so I write it as long as I'm inspired to. And then when I'm inspired to a new song, or that song, that the intuitive, creative feeling of that song fizzles away, I move on to the next, or to nothing, or it just fizzles out, disappears from my experience. But the truth is that nothing outside of us causes us to feel. Nothing places a feeling inside of us. Nothing places anything onto us. We can be triggered, yes, but it's still to an expression. An expression. You're triggered to love. It's an expression. You're triggered to hate. It's an expression. You're triggered to beautiful things. It's an expression. You're triggered to brightness. It's an expression. But that's the game, right? It's drawing back your attention, becoming more and more aware, noticing that that is the truth, that all that is an expression, and that you are expressing. And so you stop looking for the things outside of the self, and begin expressing the things, and noticing that the more consistently you are the expresser of the thing, the more consistently the thing shows up in front of you as experience. More loving experiences begin to show up. More confidence filled experiences begin to show up. More beautiful experiences begin to show up. And we're talking about consistent, because each of you have experienced these, because you're being triggered from the outside. So in your being triggered, you're triggered to, oh, I feel loved. And so you're expressing love for a period of time. You see something beautiful, so you express beauty for a period of time. You see something that looks strong and secure, and so you express security, and so you experience security for a period of time. But then you also see in things that cause you to express the absence of the things, and so you experience the absence of the things, and then you're on the roller coaster, and everybody's life looks the same. Everybody's life looks like the roller coaster, right? And that's what everyone believes is true, the roller coaster. They believe in the roller coaster. But the more you play and practice with reeling in your attention, becoming stronger in your intentional expressing, and in so doing, you begin to notice how your experience becomes more consistent, because you have become more consistent in your expressing and less reactive, which has you on the roller coaster. But that's not what we're talking about today. Yeah, that's not what we're talking about today. Today, we're talking about the topic of the mission is expansion. The mission is expansion. Remaining stuck in an experience is a mistake, right? It was never meant to be so. That one remains stuck in an experience, no matter how traumatic, no matter how dramatic, for a lifetime. Because when you're focused on expansion and growth and becoming the next greater version of yourself, you can't stay stuck in an experience, no matter how traumatic, no matter how dramatic. So that's what we want to talk about. The structure for these lives, if you're new, if this is your first time, is that we're going to give a discussion for a period of time, and then we're going to look to the chat for any questions, comments, any expanded awareness that you would like support or our commentation on. You just have to throw it in the chat and we will discuss that and give that some time. Um, if you're new, again, and you find value in these discussions, in these live channelings, be sure to subscribe. We're shooting to do this every Monday and Wednesday, not this Wednesday because here in the States it's a holiday. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. But we're shooting to do this every Monday and Wednesday noon Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, so that's the part. That's the structure. We'll give the discussion, then we'll look to the chat for any questions or anything like that. Again, if you're new, subscribe, like. If you find value, comment. Um, if you're inspired to comment, if you're inspired to greater awareness, comment. Put it in the comment for those who are here now to see and to share in. For those that might watch the replay, your comments inspire further expansion in others. And the physical action of commenting, just typing it out, helps to solidify that new awareness into your being. Okay? And lastly, well, not lastly, but if it's not your first time, you know the drill. If you find value, amen, like for me, put the comment in there, support yourself, support others. It's the same as dropping that pebble in the lake and creating that ripple. Just small acts. You never know how far they ripple out. You never know how many they touch. You never know. We have a few things in the description, a few free presentations that we created. First being the greatest misconceptions. There are three greatest misconceptions about this path of growth and expansion that each of us are on. It's powerful to know those misconceptions, to know that you're doing the right things. They will support you in knowing that you're doing the right things, working in the right place, and just give some idea, greater expanded idea about this path of growth and expansion you're on. The second one is the three attention shifts. There are three attention shifts that you have to make in order to realize and know that you're working at your foundation, working at your core on this path of growth and expansion you're on. There are a lot of paths you can go down that are awesome, that will support you in expanding your awareness, but they do not directly support you in affecting your life experience and how you're creating it right now. Now, you can do all the other things, but you want to know exactly what you need to be doing, where you need to be working in order to be transforming and working to affect your experience right now. And you have to make these three attention shifts. If you don't know what they are, check out that presentation. That way you know, and you know exactly where you need to be working. All right, let's see. We've got a couple comments already that seems to loop back, even in dreams. Like Remington wonders if it's true what it is. Let's see, Male 111. Can you be a little bit more specific? We're going to go into the mission as expansion. Maybe there'll be some answers in there for you, but still, if you can be a little bit more specific for us, we'll come back to that and see if we can support you in this idea. So throw that in there, or you can wait till after the discussion about the mission. And if you haven't received anything, but when we finish that, we'll go back to it. All right. So the mission is expansion. Remaining stuck in an experience is a mistake. Yep. The mission is expansion. The mission is expansion. And everything that you have experienced to this point can serve as a launch point to greater expansion. Everything that you have experienced to this point, no matter how small, how large, how insignificant, to how traumatic, or dramatic can serve as a point or place of empowerment. It depends on your perspective, it depends on your ability to glean the information, to glean the resources from the experience. And now we know there are many traumatic events that can and have happened to individuals from the smallest of children all the way to the adult, and we get pushback on the severity from your perspective of these type of events that can happen. But at the same time, we really don't have to say much because you can look into your history, into the history of humanity, and see how individuals have transformed themselves as a result of dramatic events in their life and exploded into greater strength, personal strength. We're not talking about life happenings or success or anything like that. We're talking about personal strength, how these events caused them and supported them in seeing themselves in a different light, a light that was able to allow them to recognize their true power within, and then to go on into greater and greater and greater expansion as an individual. One of the first things we suggest is understanding that these events are often born of a low vibrational state. So, when you are, for those of you who are on this path of growth and expansion, when you are looking to these events to the degree that you can, we understand that many of these events carry high emotion, which makes them difficult to view, makes it uncomfortable sometimes to remember. But understand that they are born of a low vibrational state. So, the trick, the key is to get yourself into a higher frequency than the frequency of the event. That creates the separation. And when you are in that separated state vibrationally, then when you look at the event, you're able to see it from a different perspective. From the perspective of, okay, this event happened, but I'm holding it out in front of me. It's not connected to me because I'm in a different frequency. Now, what do I see? I see this, I see that. Oh wow, I see how I am offering fear. I see how the other individuals, maybe spouse or partner, maybe mother or father, maybe brother or sister, I see how they are also in fear. I see how they are collaborative components to my vibrational expression, to that which I am believing. You can only see these things when you're looking at it from a higher vantage point, from a different frequency, from a vibrational position that is different from your perspective, higher than the vibration of the event. And understanding this, you can begin to see how and why the staying in an event is a mistake, right? Nothing stands still, but you are conditioned to focus on the problem, to continue to reiterate, to feel, and to remember, put together the problem. And the more you focus on the challenges and the problems, no matter how dramatic they were, no matter the level of emotion, the more you focus on them, you're conditioning yourself to that idea. And that's why it continues to reappear and reappear and reappear in your mind's eye. A traumatic event can sow itself immediately into your mind and into your body because of the high emotion. It can sow itself immediately. When Benny was a child, he had, hold on just a second, please. All right. Catherine, can you see me and hear me again now? I had to pause it for a second. I had a challenge going on here. Throw it in the chat real quick if everybody. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Where were we? Traumatic events. That's the reason why traumatic events can stick so quickly. It's because of the high emotion of what you call trauma or drama. Oh, yeah. When Benny was a child, his mom would make spaghetti casserole, right? Fantastic. Fantastic. Family favorite. And one night, Benny got sick. He got sick, and they had had spaghetti casserole, and he, as a child, had done the throwing up thing, right? That's a thing that happened, and he connected it to the spaghetti casserole. Now, it was a stomach virus, is what caused the illness, but he connected that event, that traumatic event, to the spaghetti casserole. So immediately, in that connection, he was able to stop eating the spaghetti casserole for almost a year. No desire to eat it, completely separated from it. And after about a year's time, he decided to try it again. Tried it, no problem, back to spaghetti casserole. But the trauma of the event and being sick and connecting that mentally and emotionally, connecting it to the spaghetti casserole that his mom would make, supported him in being able to separate from it. This was an idea that he created that was sown. No one supported him or helped him to create this single idea. He created it. And because of the emotion that was tied to it, it was powerful. And he was reminded anytime he saw spaghetti or his mom fixed spaghetti casserole or he saw that type of thing on a commercial, he was reminded of that traumatic event and wanted no parts of it. And it's the same thing with each of you. Traumatic events that have happened in your life, all the way back to your childhood, the high emotion around it has established an idea. And the strength of the emotion is what causes it to manifest inside of your mind and body with frequency. And now you have assigned it to happenings outside of you that are triggers now every time you see this thing or see this person or see that type of person or a person that looks like something that's connected to an event or see a thing or observe a thing that looks like it's connected to that event, and it reminds you of that event. And then when you are reminded of it, you remember, recreate, re-put together the entire event. You feel the feelings, you see it on the screen of your mind, you do everything right from a creative process, but in the direction of that traumatic event. And that's why events appear in your experience, leaving you feeling the same way. And they appear with a level of consistency. Benny has had those type events born of victimhood, of the feeling of being helpless, that have manifest or did manifest for over 30 years with a level of consistency, not every week, not every 3 weeks, not every month, but with a level of consistency with the same type emotional grandness attached to the event that continue to remind him, continue to leaving him feeling that way, the same as the events that happened back in his childhood that caused and sowed from which the idea was sown. That's why events seemingly repeat in your experience. The traumas, the dramas continue to repeat because they are sown powerfully with emotion. And guess what? The only person that is remembering it is you. The only person that is re-sowing it into your inner creative process is you. And this is where the transformation has to occur. This is where the releasing of the idea, the detaching from the idea, the weakening of the emotion around the idea has to occur inside of you to begin to curb and reduce the momentum that causes the frequency of its expression and appearance as experience. Now, let's talk about the opposite of that. The opposite of that is in the creation and sowing of new ideas, the same thing can be done. The challenge is that most of you are not comfortable with just being highly emotional for no reason, right? You feel like it's kind of weird, but you can sow a new idea in the same way. If you have an idea of the type of person you intend to be or the type of experience that you want to have, and you sow that idea and you express high emotion around that idea, you can sow an idea fairly quickly, a new idea. Now, couple that with the knowledge and the understanding and the tools to release an idea that was sown that you know conflicts with your new intention, and you can speed up the process. But you can sow a new idea in the same fashion. High emotion is key. High emotion can sow a traumatic event into your being, just like that. And high emotion can sow a new idea, just like that. The challenge with an adult versus a child is that a child probably most often doesn't have ideas already within their being that will conflict with an experience that they desire to have. You, as an adult being who is human in body, when you create a new idea or an intention for your life around your health, around relationships, around abundance, it's highly probable that you have ideas inside of you that conflict with your intention. That has been established just through life experience, just through being around others, just through observing humanity and having ideas implied to you. Right? For most of humanity, beautiful relationship is not the norm. So when you say, I want to have a beautiful relationship, I want to have an excellent marriage, I want to have a fantastic experience with a magnificent partner that I'm aligned with, you have to look and see and check on how, up to this point, you have been resisting that experience. You have to look and see what ideas you're carrying that conflict with that experience. Because when you look to your media, when you look around you to friends and family, or not in assumption, but look to the media that you often consume. Look to your friends and family and notice what ideas are being implied. What idea information are you consuming unawares? Are they ideas and information rooted in beautiful relationship, or are they ideas and information rooted in broken relationship? What is being talked about? What is being felt about? What is being implied that is true? And if it's not what you want, not just in relationship, but in the abundance idea, the well-being idea, think about your well-being idea. Think about your well-being idea. There is so much, this is where you can get tripped up. There is so much in your media sources now that are promoting the use of vitamins, that are promoting exercise, that are promoting meditation and all of these things. But you have to be careful that the reason the promotions are so big is because of the actual belief in dis-ease. You have to be careful and highly aware that the reason for the hugeness of the promotion is the belief in dis-ease. Are you exercising because you don't want to be overweight? Are you exercising because you don't want to be sick? Are you exercising? Are you trying to eat right? Trying. Are you trying to eat right? Are you doing all of the things because of something you don't want to be or something you don't want to experience? If that's the case, you're focused on what you don't want. It has to be a pure, clean expression. When you're in meditation and you say, I am well being, you're not saying I am well being because I don't want to be sick. If you say that, if that's what you believe, then sick, disease, colds, all of these things, weakness of the immune system, all of these things is actually your focus. You're doing this because you don't want to be this. It can't be that. It has to be a pure expression. I am well being. I am well. I am beautiful. I am strength. I am secure. I am abundance. I am connection. I am relationship. Just because I am, just because it is, not because I don't want to be something else, just because I am. And in so doing that, you can begin to see how staying stuck in an experience is a mistake, because when you begin to look at, let's just say, well-being, a person who is exercising because they're inspired to, because that is what they're intuitively inspired to do and be in the process of being well, there's always a next. There's always a next. There is no constant. There's always a next. You can be stronger. You can indulge in higher vibrational, lighter food sources, lighter nourishment sources. In relationship, how much better can my relationships be? And you continue to climb the ladder of you being excellent in relationship, whether it's at work, in your intimate relationship, in your marriage, as a parent, as a father, as a son, as a mother, as a daughter, and understanding that there's always a next. It matters what your perspective. It matters the frequency, the vibration that from which you are looking at your experiences, no matter how excellent or how traumatic. But you have to have that understanding that if I'm stuck in a position, if I am in a loop of experience, it's because I'm focused on the experience. I'm not focused on who I am or can be as a result of the experience. What's the next highest version of me that can be achieved as a result of the experience? And no, that's not letting people off the hook. That's not dismissing those individuals who perpetrated the event. It is you taking back your power. It is you claiming empowerment. It is you looking inside and choosing to be transformed. It's about perspective. It's about perspective. And if you want to go deeper from your perspective, all our collaborative components on this plane of existence, it's about vibration, it's about alignment, it's about energies matching up, it's about collaborative components. Everywhere you find yourself, that which you experience is a result of expression and collaborative components coming together with you to create the experience. And the deeper you go within, from a high frequency vantage point, the more clearer you can see. And the clearer you are able to see, to the same degree that you believe the same degree and energy and force and strength of any event that has occurred of low vibration that you might call traumatic or dramatic. To the same degree, you can be strengthened and empowered on the other side. But it's about the perspective from which you are viewing these events and gleaning the knowledge and the information from them that can be empowering for you. It's empowering to be able to see that which happened to me also happened to my parents. They were only being that which they had been conditioned to be. They were only living out their own traumas and dramas, unaware, unconscious. And these were passed along to me. But me being able to see that, now I can change it. I can stop the pass along. I can try and make sure that I don't pass this along to my children. You can only see that when you're looking at events and experiences from a higher frequency. If you're in the vibration of the challenge, of the problem, of the trauma, of the drama, you cannot see. And this is something that's critical for those who are aspiring to be powerful, conscious creators to understand. It's as simple as getting yourself into the most joyful state, to the most excited state, to the most in the most beautiful state. Utilize the rainbow, utilize a beautiful memory to get you into a high vibrational state, and then turn and look at the challenge. If you're seeking to transform it, if you're tired of carrying it and it being recreated in your experience, then turn and look at the challenge and see what you see. And you will see it differently because of the difference in vibration that you're in. Set your sights higher. Have an intention to set your sights higher. What's the greatest version and vision of myself that I can imagine? Create that contrast, create that separation between you, the you that you can image, and the you that has suffered. Create the contrast. And as you strive to be that which is in the picture, also seek solution and empowerment from that which you have been. Ask these questions of yourself. What's the highest and best I can be as a result of this? What empowerment is there for me as I transform and grow beyond this? See, people who are stuck in the challenge, they're not asking, they're incapable of asking these type of questions. They're still seeking to blame. They're still seeking responsibility or casting responsibility outside of themselves. And there's no power in that. There's no power in that. The power is in your perception. The power is in your intention. The power is in your choosing. The power is in your ability to create yourself anew, setting an intention for you, for yourself, for your states of being, getting into a higher frequency, and then choosing to glean that which you can from experience, no matter how beautiful or how traumatic, in support of you becoming the next highest version of you. God, and all of this is done inside. It's all done inside. So we're going to stop there. And we're going to open it up and see if there are any questions, comments in the chat for a period of time before we close out. Awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And what that says, if Mel, if your name is Mel, what that says is that, you being here, you had an intention, you had a question, you had an idea. So your question was already in the energy of this experience, right? Your question was already in the energy of this experience, which you asking the question, before we fully got started, I thought that already. And I wondered, I was wanting to see whether it would get answered in the discussion because you had it already. And so your energy was already mixed in with the energy of the experience. And I figured it would come through. That's awesome, though. That's awesome. You have anything else? Anyone else have any questions or anything? Thanks for the comments. Thanks for everything that's in there. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, if you have any questions, any comments or anything, give a few minutes, just throw them in the chat. So they want to say something about Thanksgiving. Let's see. Oh, Catherine says, I often say, let me see this differently. Or there is another way of seeing this. Yeah, yeah. It just comes back to the asking. And in your ability to ask, right? In your ability to ask, you're automatically setting yourself in a higher vibration. You're in a different perspective just being able to ask that question. You're not engulfed in the vibration and the energy of whatever the challenge is. And that's the starting point. It's always the starting point. Get yourself into a higher vibration. Where if you're here now or if you're watching this as a replay, it's critical that when you are looking to make changes in the contents of your mind, if you're looking to transform any trauma that you have experienced, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter physical, emotional, sexual, it doesn't matter the trauma. If you're looking to transform it, if you're taking responsibility for its residence within your being, right? Because I had to reckon with the fact that nobody that has ever been a part of trauma created with me, they don't remember. They don't remember. They come around, I'm talking about family. They come around, they are around you as if nothing happened because they don't remember. They remember things that has happened to them, but nobody remembers things that they did to you. They don't remember. It's only inside of me being carried, causing me to resonate a level of vibration that causes it to continue to appear as experience. Now, the faces change, the locations change, but the type of experience and how it left me feeling was always the same. The same as what happened to me all the way back as a child. Exact same. That's what you have to be aware of. It's within me because the collaborative components, they don't remember that they created this experience that caused me to feel a certain way. They don't remember. I'm the only one that's continually remembering and being triggered to the memory and the expression. I'm the one in my mind seeing the people wishing I had said this, wishing I had done that. All of these things going through your mind and the feelings in the body. I'm the one. And so, in trying to transform these ideas, it's critical that you're not in that feeling place when you're when you're entertaining these ideas because you can't see. You can only see based on the level of vibration you're in. When you get into a higher frequency, a higher vibration, you see completely different. Wonderful. When you're in a higher vibration, you get yourself into a higher vibration and you look at the experience. Now, and when you ask the questions, it's based on the questions that you ask. Sometimes when we're working with people, their inner being takes them quickly to the awareness that the awareness of who they are without the experience to create the contrast. And sometimes their inner being shows them that this is something that's being perpetuated down through parents and grandparents and their parents before them. This is an idea that's been passed along. Now, when you see that this is an idea that's been passed along through generations in your family, that's empowering also because it says, you know what, yeah, I had this experience, but now I can clearly see that this is just an idea. I've been identifying with this, but it's just an idea. That's empowering. When you're able to see that, that's incredibly empowering. So the next time you come in, if you haven't released the idea completely, but the next time you see yourself starting to feel and think in a certain way, you're able to catch yourself a lot quicker because you've had the experience of expansion, seeing that the idea has been passed down and was given to you. So that's incredibly empowering, knowing that. So when you ask, for ID in your childhood and being able to get to the truth that keeps coming up. Yeah, seeing that expands your awareness and it's incredibly empowering, right? It's incredibly empowering. But sometimes, to change it, it depends on with the process that we use. It depends on your inner being and where it takes you as to what's important for you to understand at the moment. Some people it takes them to that. Some people they are shown and can see how what they're calling a trauma in this life on this plane of existence is actually an idea that they're continuing to explore from another lifetime, right? And they also become aware of the fact that, okay, because I'm asking these questions, it's time to end that experience. And I can end it by transforming these ideas and recreating myself. Many of the traumas that people experience as children are ideas that they have chosen to continue to explore from a previous lifetime. The experience of victimhood and helplessness is one of mine, right? When I see people doing different processes like past life regression, I immediately say, okay, if they can do that, I can do it. Let me watch a couple of videos, let me see what they're doing, and then let me try it. And the only thing I do is I make sure I'm in a high vibration, and then I try it. I ask my inner being, let's do this, and go into meditation. I get myself in perspective into a deep meditation state, whatever that means. Just completely relax down in a higher vibration. And I do it. And I have seen in a previous lifetime, when I talk about the idea of being helpless and being a victim that I carried for 30 some years in this life. In a previous life, I was what I saw was a slender man. This is me, slender man, not African American, but I was Caucasian. And we were in a barn, and my daughter had died. She was on a table in the barn, and there were other people around. And I was feeling the same way that I have felt often in this life. I was feeling helpless and like a victim, like I had no power to protect or to save my daughter. And then there was a lifetime before that where I saw I had a kingdom of some kind and it was being destroyed and or being taken from me some kind of way. I was just able to see it being destroyed or something was happening. And I was feeling the same way in that experience, helpless, like a victim, powerless, and being able to see that as empowering as well. But when you start asking those questions, when you start asking the questions of an experience and of an event like you're asking, Mel, that is evidence that it's time to end the line. that you are at the place now where you're ready to, from your personal evolution, you're at the place now where you're ready to end the line of experience for you, transform the ideas and recreate yourself. You being here is evidence of that. You asking these questions is evidence of whatever these that you're speaking of, whatever events that have happened in this lifetime that you're speaking of and that you're working on, which I know you are. These questions that you're asking mean that it's time to end the line, right? That's what that means. Yeah, yeah. Still an idea, no matter how much we call it evil. Yep, it's just an idea. It's just an idea. And the tricky thing is you have to remember that that which we call evil now in our time, there may have been times before where it wasn't called evil, right? Which points to the perspective thing, which points to the culture thing, all of those things. But in all of these circumstances, it still points back to it's just an idea. It's an idea. And ideas can be changed. They're not permanent. They're not permanent. Yep. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Any more questions? Any more questions? Any comments? Anything anybody would like to have discussed before we close out? Oh yeah. They wanted Abraham wanted to say something about Thanksgiving, just real quick. Thanksgiving coming up here in the states this week, and it's a time where often families get together and hang out and celebrate, and they are express their gratitude for those of you on this call and those of you watching the replay. Understand that this event causes you to express gratitude, causes you to express appreciation, causes you to be in a higher vibrational state that is not your norm. You have to understand that this is an expression and that you can express in this manner as often as you like. You don't have to wait for a particular day on the calendar to be. In order to be empowered, play with it. Play with being thankful. Play with being appreciative with a level of consistency. Set your phone for an hour, and every hour your phone goes off, get yourself into a state of gratitude and appreciation. And then look to your experience for its reflection. Do it for a week. Create some momentum for the purpose of looking to your experience for the reflection of those expressions. And it doesn't take long. Phone goes off. I am thankful. Man, I am thankful for the day. I'm thankful for the beautiful sun. I'm thankful for the trees and the plants. I'm thankful for the insects. I'm thankful for the deer that seem to be in abundance these days until you know that you're feeling that feeling and then go about your day. And then look to your experience for its reflection. Don't allow yourself to be moved to it just because it's a particular day of the year. Because think about it. There are certain times in the year where everybody in a country or around the world gets into a higher feeling state because they are feel like they're supposed to because it's this holiday. Because if that's true, that means that there are also many points during the year where they are supposed to not feel good, right? How many dates throughout the year do people have where they are supposed to feel bad? Maybe it's the day that mother died or father died or something happened traumatic on this day and or this time, and I remember it every year, and it causes me to move into a low vibration every year. And I've got a string, I've got 3, 4 every month that I'm supposed to feel a certain way. You can't be as one who is aspiring to be a powerful conscious creator. You have to be aware. It's about expression, and you can be that which you choose to be. But the power is in being consistent just for a little bit until you can see the manifestation. And that which is appearing outside of you as experience is not the first manifestation. It's first on the inside. The more loving you are, the more loving you choose to be, you start to have loving thoughts. You start to feel loving without even thinking about it. The more consistent you are, because you're conditioning your body to it. And then you start to have loving thoughts. You start to see things in a loving light. And then your experience begins to unfold and appear in front of you in a more loving manner. Assign it a color, assign some music to it. What does it sound like? What color is it now that it's more loving? Manifestation happens first on the inside. And then it starts to show up outside of you as experience. Make appreciation, make gratitude, make being thankful a more consistent expression, and see what you see. All right. Question. I have this dominant feeling I can't explain it. It's full of uncertainty and the unknown, not discomfort, but unknowingness. How to journey with this? Oh, you just answered the question. Try with the feeling allow it to inform. Yeah, yeah. Because if you sit with it just for a little bit, it will tell you, and you can ask it. Because you're still the wielder. You're still that which these ideas are inside of. Right? Understand that there's the whole of you, and then there's the part of you that's being expressed down in through this physical body for experience on this plane of existence. That which is you being expressed through your physical body to have this interaction is not the whole of you. The whole of you can see the ideas that are inside of you. So you can go into meditation, get in a high vibration, ask yourself, what is sourcing this uncertainty? Now, we can tell you at the bottom of uncertainty is your belief in separation. At the bottom of insecurity is your belief in separation. Because if you know that you're everything and that you're connected to everything and that you are everything and everything is you, then there's no uncertainty and there's no insecurity, there's nothing to be scared of. And there's a you that is that. But now we can say that and it not land. But if you discover that understanding inside of yourself, it can't be taken away. You are a new person as a result of that information, that knowledge, that expanded awareness. And then you can face your life experience as a completely different being. And that's what's most important. Don't believe us. Play with it, gain the understanding, gain the expanded awareness, and then face your life with that new state of being. That's what we want. We're just offering ideas for you to chew on. Yeah, yeah. All right. It's been about an hour. So we're going to close out. We want to thank each of you for your participating, for your energy, for your love, allowing us to be of support. This is what we're here for. Now, if you haven't connected with us, to be on our email list, to be more closely connected, and to know other things that we have going on outside of this platform, check out those presentations if you haven't, and connect with us. Be a part of our. Get on the list so that you know what's going on away from here, away from this platform. So that you're first to know often what's going on and the different things that we have and different ways that we can have greater communication, right? We can actually talk and see each other and speak to each other back and forth. That's even more powerful, right? So, hey, have a fantastic week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving if that's what if you celebrate it. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we'll be back next week, next Monday and Wednesday, uh, for these sessions. All right. Thank you again for each of you. We love you very, very much. Thank you.